on the web, the applet thing. Okay, to understand this, the use of applet. Okay, let's first try to look at what is a meaning of few things. What is internet? Try to understand this. Yeah, what is internet?
Internet is something which gathers the information from all over the world and provides it in one shot.
How? Okay, what do we use in internet? How do you use your internet? How? What do you need on your machine?
I need one desktop and one
Browser. Okay. Right. What's browser? It's just a client for. It's a client. Then what's the other side?
server.
Server. So what's internet? Now tell me.
It's a communication between client and server.
It's made of a lot of servers, right? Okay. It's nothing but it's having a lot of servers. Okay. Fine, which are available and they have a lot of content. Fine. We use a browser to ask for content. Okay, so let's see this how it's happening, right? So for that, let's take a typical browser. Okay, some typical browser. Yes, so if you have a browser, what do we do? So you got a browser, let's say. Fine. Oh, what do you key in here? What do you key in here? It's a browser. There's a bar in the browser. This. What do we key in?
Address bar.
We keep. What do we put? We call it as a.
URL.
And that's the input given to the browser. Browser program is a client program. Right? The user gives an input called the URL to the browser. Okay, let's look at a typical URL. A typical URL looks like http colon / some domain name. Okay, so yeah, someone says www dot.
Let's say ibanking.com.
Hmm?
ibanking.com.
You got iBanking. Okay, let's keep some simpler sites. Okay, fine. Let's google.com. It could be something else where then the next part would be something like slash,
And then let's
then
say
something dot html. Very common thing. Okay, fine. This is an input given to the browser. Fine. What is the input given to the browser? Oh, that's the input. Okay, when we give this input to the browser, how does the browser use this input? What it would do from this input is, it will look at this part first. Oh, what is this? What does this correspond to?
it's a server address.
Yeah, it means some server, right? Okay, it would resolve to some IP address. This will get resolved to an IP address. It knows that's a machine, fine, where
This is
what is supposed to be running?
.html.
Where a web server, a HTTP server is supposed to be running. Fine. It is assuming there is a HTTP server, and therefore what it does, okay, so let's assume this is nothing but our host, whatever. This is what we call as the host. So this is the host machine. This corresponds to a machine, right? Ultimately, this corresponds to a machine. Fine. This is identifying a machine. Fine. So we have said this machine. Fine. I want to follow. What is this? Protocol. Okay. So I would like you to follow HTTP protocol. Fine. You make a connection. So what the first thing it will do? Okay, identify this. On this, because you have not mentioned much other data, it will assume and will try to locate a process, which is nothing but our web server, or call it as the HTTP server. Okay, fine. So this browser makes a connection to this. Fine, like we make a phone call, right? Make a phone connection. It has made a connection. A communication channel has been created between the browser and the server. And then on this channel, what does the browser do? It uses the HTTP protocol, the syntax of the HTTP, fine, to send a request. And what is it sending? It is sending a HTTP request. Fine, it is sending a HTTP request. And what is the request he is making? He is saying, oh, you get me. This is the resource I am looking for. Maybe there's a directory name and slash something, fine, it could have been anything. So he's saying, oh, I'm looking for something something dot HTML. Fine, that's a request which goes from the browser to the HTTP server. What does the HTTP server do when it receives such a request? Yeah, this server here, yeah, it will try to locate the content. When it tries to locate whatever is the resource you're asking for, that's our resource. So it tries to locate such a resource on the host machine server. Fine, server here is referred as a host. Okay, on this host, it will look for this resource. Fine, if it finds such a resource, the content of that resource is going to be sent as a response back to the browser. Fine, the browser. What does the browser do with this content? What is it getting? All HTML. Fine, it is getting HTML. Okay, fine. So what is this browser? The browser is very versatile and understands the various HTML tags. It actually understands so many different types of content. Oh, it knows, oh, this is HTML, fine. I know how to display that HTML. It knows how to render various kinds of content. Fine. And most commonly, HTML content. Okay, I know, I understand all the HTML tags and I can show it to you. Fine, it starts rendering. Now, just see, as part of that HTML content, if it receives a tag, I'm putting one of the tags typically which may appear, a typical tag which could appear could be a tag called img, image, src equal to, and something dot gif file maybe, and the other attributes as well. So if such a tag is received by the browser, what does the browser do?
Browser, like this image that it understands that okay,
Yeah.
I have got
What it has got is HTML tags.
yes.
And one of the tags is like this.
Then it will look for this GIF
Where?
file.
Where? Where is the GIF file?
Yeah, it is coming as an
So what does it do? This tag is a resource tag again. It's another resource. Where would it be available? On the server. So it again makes a connection. Fine. Again makes a connection to the server and sends a request. What is the request? You get me so and so GIF file. Okay. Fine. What will the server do? Locate the GIF content. Fine. And send the content back as a response. Fine, it receives and it is able to render it. Yes, it's versatile. It understands content. Oh, I know this is GIF. I know how to render a GIF. Fine, browsers know how to render a image file. Okay, they can show an image file. They understand the tags, bold, italics, all those tags which are there in the HTML. Fine, they understand all of them. Okay, fine. So this is how it was, right? Oh, now the thing is, what I'm talking about applet is just a little history. This was way back. Java. When was Java created? The project for Java was started by Sun Microsystems, and which was taken over by Oracle, and which has been taken over by Oracle. Okay, so Sun Microsystems in 1991. That's the time when it was started. Fine. It was initially called as Project Green. Okay, that's how it was initially initiated. So it's just to give you an idea that the days when we are looking at when was this happening, when this applet, how it made a difference. Okay, so during those times, yes, that's how HTML was being used. That's how the internet was being used. Storage of content, static content all over the places. You would have images. Yes, you will have images. You'll have those images coming to the browser. Fine. Now, what was done by, okay, what was done by, so Sun Microsystems, what they did, okay, another one, yeah. This is Sun Microsystems, 1991. A few other things related to the history of Java. Important person here. Who's the scientist in Sun Microsystems? Who who led the project? Hmm? James Gosling. Fine. He is referred as the father of Java. Fine. James Gosling is referred as the father of Java. Okay, and it's an important name for Java. So what Sun Microsystems did, let's talk of this, and then we'll talk when they did this, fine, when it was done. Fine. They demonstrated something about applet. Now, what for demonstrating applet, what they did was they said, oh, like we are having an image tag, let's add one more tag. And they added a new tag called applet, where you would specify code equal to and specify some file and specify something which would refer to a Java bytecode. It would refer to a Java bytecode. Fine. Of course, there are other attributes as well. Okay, just like we have the attributes for the image tag. Now, what happens? What they did was this: they modified. They did this with the Netscape. So, as a browser, they used Netscape Navigator. And because this was not part of a standard HTML, okay, so browser would not support the applet tag that time. But for demo purpose, yes, they updated the Netscape Navigator, fine, to make it understand the applet tag. And whenever, now what would happen? Whenever the browser here would receive an applet tag, fine, just like it was receiving an image tag, there was another resource tag called applet. When it receives an applet tag, what will it do? It will send a request. Just like it was requesting an image, now it is requesting Java bytecode. Clear? Where is the Java bytecode? It is on the server. The Java bytecode is stored on server, one place. Connect from anywhere. Fine. Open your page. Open your web page. That web page contains an applet tag. Would mean it goes to that server, gets your Java bytecode program. What is needed here by the browser? We say the browser needs to be Java enabled. What is meant by Java enabled here? Oh, it has a JVM interpreter. What's needed is a JVM interpreter. You have your Java bytecode, and it doesn't matter where is your browser. You might be using a browser on a Mac. You might be using the browser on Windows, on Linux, any platform. That platform independence of the Java bytecode is what plays a good role here. That makes a difference. See, just like GIF is a standard, right? It's a standard format. Oh, it doesn't matter whether Windows shows it or Linux shows. Fine. But a platform, they all understand GIF is GIF. Same way, your Java bytecode is Java bytecode. It's not. It's a code, but it's a compiled code, but it's not dependent on your platform. Fine. That platform should have a JVM interpreter. Fine. So you may be using your browser on any platform. Fine. And this is what was demonstrated on. This is what was demonstrated by Sun Microsystems on 23rd of May 1995. And therefore, this date is considered as the birth date for Java. That's what made Java popular basically. When they demonstrated this, that's when people started looking at the things. Oh, till that point of time, there was nothing like this happening. And this is a pioneering thing. Okay, having code stored on a server, and code comes to the client and executes within the browser of the client. Fine, clear? Executing within the browser of the client. So Sun Microsystems were the first one to demonstrate such a thing, and that was the date. Okay, and this because of this applet, because of applet, Java became popular. Fine. Otherwise, yes, it was not being looked at by people. Oh, we already have so many languages, but then, so this, internet started. The usage of internet is around 1995 that it has picked up. Java also grew along with the internet. So many times people say, "Oh, that's a Java is the language for internet," but no, Java is not the language for internet only. Fine, Java is a general purpose object oriented programming language. Fine, Java is a general purpose object oriented programming language.